Hey guys, welcome back. So today I am reviewing the very controversial Subculture palette. You will see in this video what I think of it. I'm also going to do a little review of the liquid glow as well and the liquid lipstick. I know this isn't a new product, but it is new to me. I haven't used it before. If you want to learn how I created this look and what I thought of the product, please keep on watching. I know that this palette has, had a lot of bad press over the last week since it launched. I'm gonna give you my honest review today. I am not the type of person that jumps on the bandwagon. I don't take other people's opinions. Like, I would rather just try it myself and see how I feel. So I'm not gonna use the brush that comes in the palette. I tend to never use brushes that come in palettes. I just don't know why I just don't. Here is the palette. You've probably seen it a million times. So yeah, I'm just gonna jump straight in. I don't really know what look I'm going for. So I've already primed my eye with my Eden Primer Potion from Urban Decay, and I've set that really well as well, just because I know some people have been having trouble with patchiness. So I wanted to just make sure I completely set my lid and my crease to make sure that there was no sort of like tacky bits of the primer left over. So let's just go for it. So I'm gonna first jump into this shade right here, which is Dawn, and I'll let you know what the fallout is like as well. That's like a normal amount of fallout. Like, I dipped my brush into that a few times. That's normal. So, I'm pretty happy with that right now. So I'm just gonna take that all the way through the crease. So that's actually blending out really nicely. I still, even though I'm dipping in like multiple times to the pan, I'm still not getting a lot of kickback. Just like a normal amount really, but I suppose with the darker shades we will see what happens. I am pretty light-handed anyway when I dip into my eyeshadows. I don't swirl my brush, I literally just tap on the top. I have seen some tutorials where people are literally like swirling their brush and they're like, oh my god, I got loads of kickback, but yeah, you're swirling your brush into your pan, so that is gonna disturb a softer pressed pigment, like for sure. The next shade I'm going to dip into is this one right here. This one is called Edge. This is like nice mustardy yellow, which is actually one of the colors that really drew me to the palette because it's really hard to find a good mustard. And I'm just going to take that on the same brush, and again I'm getting like a normal amount of kickback from that, not really much at all. And again, it is super pigmented, really nice and blendable. There's basically no kickback from that at all. And I'll just show you how hard I'm sort of like pressing into the pan. So I'm literally just doing this. And I'm still getting hardly any kickback from that. But that's all you really need to do. You don't need to be swirling your brushes into it. They are pressed softer for a reason, and that is purely to get the most pigment, like colour payoff from them. Honestly, that's literally all I've done, and you can see how much pigment these eyeshadows have because I've literally only just tapped into it a few times each time I've tapped my brush into the pan. Just a really light tap and then nice light-handed sort of blending motions. Now I'm going to take my Zoeva 224, this is just like a smaller blending brush. I'm going to dip into this one right here. This one is called Destiny, and it's like a nice khaki olive green. Really, really pretty. Okay, so this one does have a little bit more kickback, so I've just done the exact same motion with this one as I have with the others. And you can see the amount of kickback, but that's still not loads. I still feel like that's normal. Then what I'm going to do is press this onto where I want to blend it first. Typically greens are a little bit tougher to blend just because of the sort of tone. So I'm just going to go in with my brush that I used for the edge shade again, with a tiny little bit of edge, just so I can blend the edge. Now I'm going to switch my brush again. I'm using the Zoeva 231 and I'm going to take Untamed, which is this teal one right here. And literally I'm tapping my brush into that and I'm getting zero kickback at all. Like nothing. You can just see where my brush has made like an indentation. And you can see how much actual product is on my brush. I'm just going to tap that on the outer corner. And I'm using my brush that I used for Destiny just to blend out the edges. And even though I'm using a different brush to blend out the edges, I'm still not experiencing any patchiness at all. And then I'm just going to take my brush that I used for Edge. And I've not added any extra product this time. So I'm just going in with a clean brush just around the edges, just to make sure there's no harsh lines. I always do this with any eye look. So now I'm just going to deepen up the outer corner because I think I'm going to do some sort of like half cut crease. So I'm just going to take Axis. I'm really excited to see how this one reacts when I dip my brush into it, because this is the one of the shades that everybody's been like going crazy about. And I've literally just patted my brush in there like 4 times and I'm still getting minimal kickback. This is one of the ones where people were like hitting pan on it as well, like the first time. So I'm just going to press that onto the outer corner. And then I'm also going to use that same brush just to blend. So I'm just going to take a flat concealer brush and some of my MAC Pro Longwear. And I'm going to start cutting the crease. I watched Atlee's tutorial and she basically put on concealer on her lid, and she said the best way to find out where she needs to cut it is to put it on and look up, and then it'll sort of like print it on like right where you need to cut the crease. So I am actually going to use the brush that came in it, but just the little stubby end, and I'm just using that just to blend out the edge of the concealer a little bit. So I'm just going to use a like bone coloured shadow on a synthetic brush, and I'm mainly just going to set like the edges. I do want to put electric over the lid. Okay, so now that is done, I am going to blend this outer corner so you can't really see where we've applied the concealer. So first of all, I'm going to take my brush that I used for Axis. I'm just going to take a tiny little bit of Axis again. I'm going to press that on just over the outer corner where we applied it the first time basically. And then I'm going to take the brush that I used for Untamed, and I'm going to take a little bit of Untamed. Like a tiny little bit, and I'm literally overlapping it by about 1 millimeter really. And then I'm going to take the brush that I used for Edge. And instead of blending it in circles, I'm literally just tapping it, and then I'm starting to wiggle it when I get towards the crease. So now I've basically done all of the top lid, so I'm just going to take it underneath the eye as well. Usually I would leave this until last, but I actually don't have any fallout. Like, let me zoom you in so you can see. I don't have any fallout on my face here or here, so I could leave it until last, but I'm just going to do it just for the sake of the video. I'm just going to do my under eyes because, knowing my luck, I would not do them. I'd do my foundation and then it would fall out, and that'd be okay. So I'm just going to take a clean 221 brush by Zoeva. I'm going to take Edge. I'm going to run that all the way underneath my eye. And I want this to be quite blown out. Okay, and then I'm going to take my Ziva 224 and a little bit of Destiny. And then I'm going to take my Spectrum A07 brush. It's like a little smudger brush. And I'm going to take a little bit of Untamed. So even this is like quite a stiff brush and it's not made any kickback at all. I just want to show you. I feel like I need to show you every time just so you don't think I'm like, you know, not lying. So yeah, this is it. So I'm just going to run that right along my lash line. And then I'm just going to take Axis on a Ziva 230 pencil brush, and I'm just going to focus this one on the outer half of my lower lid. And I'm just going to mainly focus it on connecting it up to the outer corner. And then I'm just going to take the brush that I used for edge. I'm just going to run a little bit more of that just along the edges. Because I want the whole look to have this sort of like mustard hue. Now that I've done the under eyes, I'm just going to finish off the lid. And for the lid, I want to use this shade. I want to use Cube. I want to put that all over the lid. So we'll see how this goes. So that's really nice. It is subtle. It's not as pigmented as obviously the rest of the palette, and it is a little bit harder to work with. Like, you do have to build it up. But like, that's not a problem. I can see when I'm dipping the brush into it, it does have like a different texture. I saw that somebody said they were kind of like, it kind of felt like one of the Colourpop shadows. But once you build it up, it's actually really pretty. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. So I'm just going to finish off the eyes by applying a line across my lash line. And this is just for my lashes to sit on. And then I'm just going to apply some mascara. So I'm going to use my Maybelline Big Shot. And for the eyeliner, I used my Tattoo liner from Kat Von D. So I'm just going to apply my lashes, foundation and concealer off camera, and then I'll be right back. You've seen it a million times, and let's face it, you ain't here to see that. So I've done my foundation and concealer, and I'm just going to touch it underneath my eyes with the shade Edge, just to bring the blend down a little bit lower, just where the concealer sort of like got rid of it. And this is where we're going to see if it falls on to the foundation. Still nothing, which is cool for you. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of Axis again. Still no fallout on my face. Okay, so also where I've set my under eyes, I've literally just kept it in this area here because I am going to apply the Liquid Glow. And obviously because I haven't used them before, I'm not sure how they're going to perform over powder. So usually I would take my powder out to here, back here, because sometimes I do get a little bit of creasing just here. But I've tried to keep it within this area, just very close to the under eye. So the shade that I got was Perla, which is the lightest of the four. And it comes in like a little tube like this, which I think is really nice. It's quite handy for traveling. And then you've got your little squeezy end, which I really like actually. So I'm just going to apply some dots just on my face. So I've just done 4 little dots on each side, and I'm going to try blending this in with my beauty blender. Okay, so that's not really sort of like spreading the product out, but it could be because I've sort of, the way I've dotted it around, it's sort of just printing more sort of like, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, more sort of like dotted. So what I'm going to do is pop some on the back of my hand, and I'm going to use it from there. So I've just popped a tiny little bit on my hand, and then I'm just going to take my beauty blender. So that's applying much better now. And I really like it. It is quite natural. It's very subtle. It would probably be more intense sort of like in natural sunlight. I mean, I wish it was a little bit more intense. For me, I do like quite an intense highlight. Yeah, for every day, this is quite nice. And then I'm just taking a little bit right on the tip of my beauty blender, and I'm just gonna do everywhere else on my face that I would usually highlight. And then the last thing I'm going to do is just apply a little bit of the liquid glow to my inner corner to see how it performs as like an inner corner highlight. Okay, so now I'm just going to finish off the whole look by applying a lip. So the lip liner I'm going to use is the NYX Suede lip liner in Sandstorm. And then the lipstick I'm going to use is the liquid lipstick in the shade Naked by Anastasia Beverly Hills. And I've never tried their liquid lipsticks before. I have heard mixed reviews. I've heard that they are very drying. But if they're drying, I just tend to put like a gloss over the top of it anyway. Okay guys, that is the finished look. I am going to talk a bit about the product now because I feel like there's been so much bad feedback about this palette, but honestly, I see no issues with it at all. Maybe I got a good one, who knows, you'll never be sure. I'm not saying at all that other people are lying. I can see the proof 100%. There definitely is inconsistency within the factory or the batches, but yeah, my palette's great. So I really like it. I love the shades. I think they're so beautiful. They're super pigmented, and even like the shimmer shades, the only one that I wasn't impressed by was Cube, and I feel like that is a consistent thing with pretty much everyone. Nobody really is fussed about that shade because it doesn't swatch well. Even with like, I haven't tried it with a brush. Let's try it with a brush right now on my hand. I mean, even with a brush on my hand, it's not that great. I feel like if you wanted a color like this, the Kat Von D Alchemist palette is great because it has 4 shades and one of them is this sort of like pink opal color, and it is more pigmented. But overall, I'm really happy with it. I'm so glad I got it, and I'm so glad that I didn't sort of like listen to any of the negativity. I did get it on launch day, so you know, all of the negativity sort of came after that. But even with like influencers and things, I'm glad I didn't like take that. I'm the type of person that likes to try things for themselves and see how I feel about the product, because everybody's different, everybody enjoys different things, everybody has different experiences with things. I'm gonna show you electric. So I don't know if you can see the sort of indentation from the brush. That doesn't mean that there is something wrong with this. I do genuinely think that it could be like one of those sort of like wet to touch, almost it feels wet or cold, and it does. It's almost like a putty sort of consistency. Like you can make an indentation in it if you press it, which is the same as the Colourpop shadows, the same as that Stila highlighter that came out. And yeah, there's no issues with this at all. Like you can see where I've just pressed my finger in electric. So yeah, I love this. So this gets a 10 out of 10 from me. I'm definitely going to film a few more tutorials with this as well. So I'll have this one. I'm going to film tomorrow a different look with different colours, and then I'll probably film one on Sunday as well. The liquid glow. I like this. I really think it's pretty. It's more subtle than say like the Iconic drops or something like that, but it's still really pretty. I feel like it's more of like an everyday, or for somebody who doesn't maybe like to wear too much highlight, doesn't want to be too shiny. usually I probably will, when I go off camera, layer a bit over the top of like a powder highlighter just to make it a little bit more intense. But this is really pretty anyway on its own. Like, you don't need to layer a powder over the top of it. That's just my personal preference. So I also loved the Liquid Glow. I was really intending on buying the other shades as well. With this one, I feel like it is really nice. I do really like it, but I probably won't buy all of them like I was intending to. I'll probably maybe just buy like the bronzier one just to use where I apply my bronzer or when I'm on holiday on my body, and that's probably it. I probably won't get the whole sort of like collection of 4 just because they are quite subtle for me. And then lastly, just the liquid lipstick. These are not a new product, these are like hella old, but this is the first one I've tried, and this one is Naked, and it is really pretty. It doesn't feel super dry on my lips, but obviously I've only just applied it, it's only just dried, so I'm sure in a few hours I'll be able to tell you more. So I will pop that on my Snapchat. I really like it. The coverage is really nice. It's not gone patchy at all. It hasn't made my lips look super dry either, which is great because I have drier lips. So I will probably layer a gloss over the top of this just because liquid lips don't work for me as like an all-day thing. For a picture, for a YouTube video, they're great, but I do have drier lips, so yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it insightful, and I hope that you will try this for yourself and see how you feel about it. Maybe wait a while because I know that they are going to start pressing them a little harder. Wait a little while before you purchase one, if you are going to purchase one, and then hopefully you can get one that has like a small amount of kickback. But like I said, I ordered this on launch day and the kickback that I got was minimal, if at all, with some shades. So yeah, I mean, make your own decisions. I wouldn't listen to everybody else's. Obviously it's great to get a collective opinion, but at the end of the day, you are gonna like a product the way you like it. Not everybody likes a product the same, you know? One thing I will say is just be light-handed. If you are heavy-handed into the pans, then you are gonna get a lot of kickback. That is normal with a shadow. You'd get the exact same with a Modern Renaissance, and I think they are great together. I'm so glad that Anastasia brought this out, and I'm so glad that she's not like pulled it or anything because of all the negativity. I really like it. So ABH, you did a great job, and thank you for creating some amazing products like you always do. If you love this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and be sure to hit the bell icon as well because that will give you little notifications whenever I post. And please leave me a comment down below with if you've tried the palette, what you thought of it, what your experience was really, because I wanna hear what you guys have to say about it as well. As always, I will list everything I've used in the description box. I will also list all of my socials down there as well, but you can follow me on Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram and YouTube. I hope you loved this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!